you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Grab a seat. All right, waving to all the people that are watching the live stream. All right, welcome to NYVR. Can I get a round of applause for VR technology? Thank you. And tonight is a special night. It's really the inaugural night for digital fashion, which I'm super excited for. Prior to COVID, we used to do theme nights pretty much every month, and we're working our way back. And this is kind of one of the first theme nights. I'm very excited to have gathered so many wonderful speakers on this topic. I think as avatars grow and digital fashion grows, we're going to just continue to see it more and more. So thank you for everyone for coming. I've got a couple of housekeeping things, and then we'll get right to the presentations. So I'm DJ, I'm the NYVR organizer. I'm also CCO of the Glimpse group. If you ever need anything in the XR space, hit me up. NYVR's mission statement is simply to grow and support the XR community in New York City. I always like to ask, how many people are here for the first time? Raise your hand. Brennan, you are lying. Cool, welcome, welcome. All right, and I want to thank the Glimpse group for sponsoring the space. It's very, very convenient. Our space is upstairs, and I'm very thankful we're able to do this in the building. Also, I want to say thank you to our team of volunteers. Anthony is not here tonight. He had a little accident, but he's all good. But Gene and Steve and Jordan, thank you always for your help. So helpful. We're going to actually have Steve up in a little bit, so you'll be able to hear a bit more from him. Also, just a reminder, we do live stream these on YouTube, and then it is recorded, and you can go back to it. If you go to the Meetup announcement description, you'll see the URL. So we will do that, and many thanks to Jimmy Gilberti with ASVI TV. He helps basically host the recordings. Mr. Katz, you are distracting me.
What's the name of the device?
That's all right. Okay. One other thing, well, a couple other things. If you're new to the group, we do something called the NYVR Collaboration Group. If you are a developer or an artist and you're just looking to get teamed up with other people to work on projects, just hit me up at the end of the event. I usually just take name and information and kind of what your skill set is. And if we get a couple people, I'll just team them together and set them off on a little project. We've been doing this for many years, and some of those teams turned out into becoming startups. So I really enjoy the process of connecting people. And a lot of developers, they just are looking to get into the space, and it's a great way to start working. Also, we're always looking for future presenters, so if you have a startup or you're working in the space and you have a cool project and you want to share it, or you just want to promote, again, hit me up. I'll talk to you afterwards. I want to try VR in my hot tub, actually.
You can do that?
Yes. Stay tuned. Next event we'll have a problem. And also any XR startups. If you're working on a startup, hit me up. I'm here to help you guys in any way I can. All right, a couple quick announcements. So our friends over at XR Guild, they just announced their next event is October 1st. Gene is here. Yes, you can raise if you have any questions about the XR Guild. But they always have fabulous events. Definitely check them out. We have a new design and tech firm called L&R. They reached out to me and said they want to host a viewing party for MetaConnect. They're going to have refreshments, and if you're interested in checking it out, there's an RSVP on the Meetup page in the discussion board for the event, as well as the Guild event. So definitely take a look at that and maybe go to that. I'm not quite sure. And then Marianne, there you go. So she wanted me to remind about the MIT Reality Hackathon, which is starting currently gear up. It's January 23rd and 27th. How many people know about the hack? Raise your hand. Okay, good amount of you. If you don't know about the hack, just go to MIT Reality Hackathon. It's like the biggest and best hack for XR. Thank you. All right, I think, we're close to the end of housekeeping. One last thing, I've been taking a little survey of favorite VR experiences. So if you have been in VR and it caught your eye, hit that and submit it to our list. I love kind of looking at that list. This is kind of the last one. If you want to take a picture and you need something to do in the evenings, you can go try out some of these experiences. And if you've seen something super cool, would love to have you share it. Let me put it back there for a second.
Hey DJ,
yes.
Are you going to share the results with us?
Yeah, I kind of do it each month, so I have like a running tab. Okay, so that's the QR code for that. We're going to get into our presentation, so Will apologize. He also had a little family event. I think everything's okay, but he will be able to present tonight. So we have Steve coming on board to help fill up some of the time, which thank you for putting that all together so quickly. And I think with that, one last thing. We do Q&A a little bit differently. So we have these QR codes throughout the presentation. Trigger that before each speaker or after each speaker and put your questions into the form. And then I'll have all of the speakers come up afterwards to answer the questions. What's beeping?
Not me.
I'm not sure what that is. Maybe, is that outside? Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe it's like an elevator. Okay. All right, with that, let's bring up the seat. Awesome.
All right, before we jump into some content, a little bit of housekeeping. We are super excited to launch our LinkedIn page. It's up and live now, and if you are enjoying your ring pop, as some of you guys are, you'll know that there's a QR code on it, and with that, we'd love for you to join the page. We've got a Rolodex of folks that have been here and signed in, so we'll look forward to finding you on LinkedIn and hopefully adding you. And if you see an invite from me or from NYVR, we'd love for you guys to join. We've got a few reasons for why you should join. The most important one is highlighting the wins from our community, which is all of you guys. We want to make sure that if you guys are up here or you guys have something important that you guys have accomplished within this space, we want to make sure that we're able to highlight it for both us, for you guys, and for the NYVR community at large. The second reason for this LinkedIn page is to market upcoming events like this one. We'll make sure we put something out there for folks to get a better understanding of what we're going to be doing 2 or 3 weeks in advance so that we continue to have the great turnout that we do, like the one that we have tonight. And then lastly, recapping events like this, we want to make sure that folks that are on LinkedIn can see some of the great work that we've been doing through these events and through the contribution that you guys have made. So if you guys are not enjoying your ring pops, you can still jump into LinkedIn using this QR code. There's a bunch of these little flyers hanging around the room, so we'd love to have you guys on. Jumping away from housekeeping, I'll introduce myself. My name is Steve Rusa. I'm a business strategist at Meta. I work on everything from the earnings call, the reality labs portion of the earnings call on a quarterly basis with Mark and Susan, to what I'm going to be talking about today, pricing digital goods, digital branded goods on Meta Horizon and our avatar portfolio. And so if you guys have any questions about that or anything Meta Reality Lab related, I'm happy to chit chat about it and be a connector for whatever I can connect some of the folks in this room too. Yeah. It is Fashion Week this week, so we figured why not entertain with a few fashion-related items through our avatar store. One of the things that I worked on a few months ago was figuring out how do we price our digital branded goods on Meta Horizon and on anything that uses our avatar assortment. And so I had a question go through. This is a question that we posed internally to ourselves. How much would people pay for this Balenciaga sweater in the real world? Anybody want to shout out some amounts that they're willing to pay?
500.
500? Nice. What else? Anybody else who was willing to shout out a price? Go for it. $30. I agree. 500 is too much. I agree. I'd pay $30. Go for it, Matt. Oh no, you would not pay at all. $0. Good. So this one we don't have an option because this sweater is actually priced at $1,000 in the real world. $1,025. Now, if I ask you, how much are you willing to pay for the digital twin version of this, the virtual world version of this? Anybody want to shout out? Go for it. $1. Nice.
$3.99.
$8. All right, good. Go ahead. $8. Wow. Okay, that's them. That's
$4.99.
One more time.
$3.99.
$3.99. All right, go for it.
Probably 99 cents in the Oculus clothing store.
Okay. Hopefully you didn't go in there and cheat. To know how much.
Because
Okay.
I've been dressing myself.
Yes, exactly. So we had a range of prices from $1 to $8, and internally we had the same question. We don't know how to price our assortment of goods if they're digital. And so we thought to ourselves, how do we come up with a better answer for how to be priced? And what we found was there's a spectrum of pricing tactics. One is extremely sophisticated, and one is more sporadic. When we looked at the research, there are places like Zepeto that have focused on partnering with retailers, and because of their focus on partnering with retailers, their approach to pricing is extremely regulated. They think about a number of factors that I'll get into, essentially merchandising factors, to figure out how they should price their digital goods. On the opposite end of that is Roblox, which is let's let our users figure out what we create and price on the portfolio. And from a Roblox perspective, the way that they price goods is similar to when you go to Ross or TJ Maxx and you find something that doesn't have a price tag on it, and then you go up to the counter and you're like, hey, this doesn't have a price tag, it's a shirt, but I found this other shirt that kind of looks like it, and it's super cheap, so can you update the label for that? And so this is how some of the pricing happens on Roblox, where if you create content, you look at the content that other people have created, and you get a sense of, all right, what should I price it at? Okay, I kind of get the range. But it's not as sophisticated as a Zepeto might price their content. And who here knows what Zepeto is? Curious how. And okay, there's a few hands up. Zepeto is a Korean-based virtual world, primarily mobile, primarily skewed towards female demographic, but it is extremely focused on fashion and they have strong collaboration with a number of retailers from Nike to Ralph Lauren to Balenciaga. And so when we looked at the two approaches, what we saw was that there are a few items that we need to look at, some systematic factors that we need to look at to pricing our content. And those factors are, one, product category. When we look at products across different categories, from backpacks, bags, tops, bottoms, etc., we see that the items that are smaller on an avatar are priced less, and the items that are larger on an avatar, namely backpacks, wings, jetpacks, are priced more because they help us understand how to differentiate our avatars from others, because the item that we're putting on them is so much larger. And so that's one of the factors we took into consideration for pricing. The second is product differentiation. We looked at the assortment for Gucci on Roblox, and we saw that the more, let's call it glamorous, the product is, the more pricing that you can demand for it. So this Gucci Glam Rock Shoulder Pad, I don't know what you want to call this, avant-garde shirt, is priced at $750, while the purple sequin shirt, which is just a normal-ish shirt, is priced at $80. So product differentiation, the more elaborate the product is, also drives the pricing up for the product. The third item, brand category. And so this is the most interesting one, because when we look at the brand assortment across Roblox, Zepeto, and a few more platforms, we see that the average price for premium luxury goods is about $10. And that's average across, if you're going to average pants, shirts, hats, eyewear, etc. But the average price for sports entertainment goods is about 50 cents. And so when we think about this, it helps us get a better understanding of how we should price new products that come into our assortment, depending on whether it's an item that's a Gucci product or a Little Nas X t-shirt that comes into it. And then lastly, we have to think about, are we having this product on because it's a promotional product that is there to drive appeal of some sort? And if that's the case, we need to think about pricing it at a discount of somewhere between 25% and 100%. Or is it an exclusive product? Is this a collaboration or a limited release? In this case, a Vans X, the North Face collaboration. And because of that, we price this at 1.2x or 1.4x that price. And so with these factors in mind, what we got to was figuring out how to price some of the content that we had created. One of these is the LFC jersey that came out a few months ago, maybe last year actually. And so based on that rubric that you just saw, we priced both this sweater and this gameplay shirt, the soccer jersey. Now, question for you guys. Which one would you guys pay more for? The sweater or the shirt? The soccer jersey shirt.
Probably a sweater at different rates.
One more time?
The metrics you shared, probably a sweater.
Metrics I shared, probably a sweater. Any other folks? Want to chime in? Go for it. Sweater.
It's getting cold.
It's getting, you said it. It's getting cold. I picked this.
virtual world.
Yes, it is getting cold in the virtual world. It's always cold over there. Anybody else?
I think based on what you said about the bag before, that since that piece takes up more space on the avatar, it costs more.
Yeah. All right. So it's small consensus towards the sweater. Yeah. Anybody on the jersey side?
Maybe because the brand is larger on the jersey side.
Okay, that's fair. There's a nice little brand on the other one too. But yeah. Okay, I see that.
I think it's gonna be the sweater because of the only Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool logo.
The Liverpool logo.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I think that's a valid rationale. Aligns with the framework.
The jersey can be seen as more limited edition than hoodie.
Okay, I like that. So that is based on the consensus in this room and the little framework that we had. We did price the jersey more than we did price the hoodie more than the jersey. Congratulations. The challenge that we had was that when we talked to Liverpool, they got mad at us. And they said, this is not right. Our jerseys cost more than our hoodies. Our jerseys cost $100. Our hoodies cost $75 or $50 based on which one. And we had a little bit of a debate internally of, well, what do we use to price this if these guys are coming back and saying, well, in the real world, the pricing for this is switched. Are we going to align with that in the virtual world, or should we continue to have the pricing based on the framework that we established? And question here, who wants to figure out what the answer was? Align with them? Okay, if we align with them, then don't we disregard the new world that we're creating? Don't we not want it to be different from the physical world that we are trying to, not escape, but create something different from?
I know, brands can be funny with how they price things, but I think on a simple level, it costs more to produce that jersey.
Yeah.
In real life, so it would have to be higher regardless, but those rules don't apply to the virtual world.
Yeah, agreed. And this is exactly the conversation we have. The rules that we have in the physical world do not apply in the virtual world. And so the pricing systems, the pricing thought process has to be different. And when we were talking about this, in the middle of that conversation came the lawyers and they said, you guys are not supposed to be talking to each other because this is price collusion. So let's go do away with this conversation. And we each need to do whatever we feel like is important for each of our own products. And so, lesson learned. We ended up pricing based on the pricing dynamics that we had come up with, and we made sure that there is a dotted line wall between the retailer and us when it comes to discussing pricing. Go ahead.
But don't you think it's a representation issue? So the jersey is highly represented in the soccer matches.
Yeah.
And most of the time, people who are supporting Liverpool, they are more prone to use jerseys to
Yeah.
represent the team.
Yeah.
thing, and we are sharing this fact in our objective reality, but I think it can be easily translated into digital world as well, don't you?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Then I guess it's the same question of how do we want the digital world, virtual world to be different from the physical world? And do we want to maintain the same boundaries or thought processes in the virtual world? So agreed, but there's no real right or wrong answer. Go ahead.
Can the supply and demand play into it?
Yes, absolutely.
Dynamically?
Absolutely. And this is one of the things that we've put into the consideration because there's not enough demand data, sales data essentially for virtual goods. It's harder to price because of that.
No, but can you dynamically as more things?
Oh, no, totally. Absolutely, yeah. But it's one of those things where we have to wait until we see enough data to make a conclusion from. But absolutely, Howard, that's completely right. And it's one of the things that we also discussed in the proposal that I haven't put in here, but absolutely. Go ahead, Jean.
I'm wondering, because it looks, even though it's a jersey, digitally, it looks like a t-shirt, so it looks less
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
sweatshirt, so that's what I would think, but then, because I can't, at least from this distance, I can't tell it's a jersey,
Yeah.
a regular t-shirt or a jersey,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and then that has to do with like fidelity, right? Like how do we make sure we have, if this is a good argument, then how do we make sure that the fidelity for something that is high quality in the real world, like a jersey, translates into the virtual world with the same amount of fidelity, where you really feel like I'm willing to pay more for this because I can absolutely see it's a jersey and not a t-shirt. Anyways.
We should go.
Yes, we should absolutely go. We have Trish up next. Thank you for engaging in the conversation. Trish, we're welcome to come up here and talk about your beautiful places.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Nice to see everyone. Back to school. So, some of you know me. I'm an immersive artist, and I'm also a professor at St. Peter's University. I've been doing digital art since digital art has been around and been doing it for a very long time. And I started doing NFTs in 2021, and the big challenge prior to 2021 for a digital artist was, how do I represent my artwork? How do I get people to see my artwork other than being on a computer? And I still think with people who have NFTs have that problem. And so during COVID, I started playing around with my breadboard, my Raspberry Pi, and the little LED screens that I would get, and came up with a bag that I want to display my NFTs on for sale. So I'm debuting my bag tonight. Thank you, DJ, for having me. Tonight at a special price, and I'm gearing up. So once I go on TikTok, it's all going to be over. I just know it. So each bag has the artwork on it. It also has an NFC chip inside the bag, which is the near frequency chip technology, and it's minted on the Fine Arts Ledger on Polygon. And so when someone buys the bag, it gives you access to the unlockable content. So the artwork is always going to be located where the web page that gets dynamically generated as the NFT. And you also get access to the mobile app that allows you to change the artwork for yourself. And you'll still have my piece of art on that page as well. So there are limited editions, as these bags are. I have a show tomorrow night at St. Peter's University. It's my faculty art show in Jersey City. I'll be having the bags again, and as well as my other artwork on display. I also have some virtual reality pieces that I've made on display on the TV displays, and sculpture, my paintings that also have augmented reality with them as well. So I do a lot of stuff. So I have my Linktree page, and you'll be able to access more information about me. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I put a lot of my information, my current information. I'm on Instagram every day. I do a post pretty much, so that's probably if you want to DM me or talk to me after tonight if you're interested in that. Let me know. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, questions afterwards.
Oh, afterwards. Okay.
Yes.
And I think I only had 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, we'll do questions afterwards.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. Next, Michael, come on up.
Oh, I'm up.
You're up.
All right, I'm up. I'm up. Do I have to use the mic?
Oh, so if you have a question for Trish or any of the folks, hit that QR code. We'll have it at the end also. And
Do I
with
have to use
that,
the mic?
yes, you have to use
I
it.
have to. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I'm going to use the mic. I feel like I'm giving my wedding speech at my daughter's wedding again. So if I slip into that, I'm sorry.
And
So-
3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay, good. I need 2. Okay, so I've been at BlogSquad, I can't even say that, columnist at rAVe Pubs for about 3.5 years. And also about 3.5 years ago, a friend of mine called me and said, you have to see this technology. It's going to blow you away because it was some technology. Another job I had, that was a part-time job. So I go to the floor of this, I guess a demo room. I see this large device about 6.5 feet high. He turns it on, he shows me content, I said I can sell that. So short story is, I started working for Proto Hologram, which was Portal, P-O-R-T-L, until Facebook sent them a nasty letter saying you have to change the name because it sounded like one of our products. So they changed it to Proto Hologram. They came out with the Proto M about maybe a year and 8 months ago. I have that behind you if you want to take a look later. I combined it myself with Frog Scent Machine, so now you get a little bit of experience. I can show you over there. With the largest systems called Lightening, Howie Mandel, other celebrities, very involved in California. They use it to beam people in so that you think you're actually talking to someone and they're somewhere else in the world. Is that a good summary of what you're going to do?
The retail application.
Okay, so for that small one, the larger one is really for events, again, people beaming in, so you can actually have someone like Howie, you think you're talking to them and he's sitting in his home in his pajamas, whatever. You can pre-record all different types of OBJ, GOB, all types of formats. This one is more like a retail application. I actually thought years ago, this is perfect for Macy's. Actually, I have a friend of mine, when the new version comes out, he's going to introduce it to Macy's. So Macy's, rather than having all these products, you basically put everything into that Proto M, which is about 26 inches high. You can do audio, it's touchscreen. As I mentioned, I add some sense to it, so you're actually getting more of an immersive experience. So I would say, come on over and ask me any questions. Is that 3 minutes?
Perfect.
Okay. No questions right now, please. Very busy. Very busy.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for doing that display is super cool. Okay, so questions, and Mithru is next on the list. Where is Mithru? Here he comes. Awesome. Round of applause for Mithru.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Awesome. Hi everyone, my name is Mithru. I run the product and engineering teams at QReal. QReal is part of the Glimpse Group, part of the DJ family, let's say. My background, I used to work in creative tech and new media. I built installations for ad campaigns, for startups, for a variety of things, data productions and so on. My very first VR experience was about 10 years ago, 2013, 2014, with the Oculus Rift. We built like an all-factory extension for the Rift where you go into this virtual space, and depending on the space that you're in, it would give you like a scent of coffee or lavender and whatnot. So again, 10 years for a lot of people in this room is not a lot. I realize that some people have been working in VR since the 90s. Brennan, I was doing other things in the 90s, like learning how to walk and talk. You'll have to excuse me, okay? In any case, I joined QReal about 5 years ago. And QReal is, we focus on building lifelike 3D models. So, and the idea behind these 3D models is to be able to use these models in different aspects, whether it's social media, virtual try-on, in-store magic mirrors, metaverse, you name it. I'll showcase some of these use cases in the coming slides. But to give you a sense of the kind of realism that we're trying to go for, one of these is not a real image. It's a 3D render, right? I'm not going to tell you which one. I'll tell you later. But the idea, so going back to QReal, as I said, we're part of the Glimpse group. We started in 2015 as Kabak. The name was Kabak. We used to work on lifelike 3D food. Since then, we've kind of expanded to more different types of 3D models. Since it's Fashion Week, I'm going to be focused on fashion-related products. We have about 50 teammates right now. A lot of them are in Turkey. We have a really impeccable talent pool out there in Turkey, led by some of the leading professors there. So let me get started straight into some kind of work that we do. Let me start with some of the Snap projects that we work on. So we partner with Snap, we're a Snap partner. Just to give you a sense of the different variety of use cases these 3D models can be used for. Everything from fashion to makeup and Lego and so on. Wide range of clients, different use cases. But again, since it's Fashion Week, I'm going to focus on fashion-related work. And I will start with an app that we created called Trio. Trio is a virtual try-on app. You can try on different. It's a camera-first app. So as soon as you open the app, you see yourself in basically the camera shows up, and you can try on different products. You can also inspect the product in 3D, with a separate screen. And I'll get into these individual use cases in some of the future slides, but just to give you this overview. Let's start with watches. So many of you might have tried virtual try-on watches, but here what I want to focus on is beyond just a regular virtual try-on where you kind of have the camera pointed at your wrist. You can also kind of add a configurator to it. So that's what we did with these Rolex models. So you can basically, you don't even need your wrist, you just point it out. You check out the 3D models, and you can kind of change the watch face, whatever you like, and you can do that on your wrist as well. And beyond 3D models, all of these also work on the web. So we created 3D virtual 3D model viewers. This is for our client JBW. Just a few years ago, making this run in real time on the web would have been extremely hard, and we have it live running. We have a few watches of theirs kind of running on the website. Just look at the sheen and the shininess, the reflective quality of those watches kind of really comes through. And again, all of this is just on a regular website. It works on your phone, it works on desktop devices, and so on. Speaking of shiny, we also do jewelry. And again, the realism kind of comes through right on some of these platforms. Many of you might have also seen virtual try-on of glasses. This is not necessarily new; it's been around for a while. But what I want to focus on in this particular use case with Bole was not just what the glasses look on yourself, but also what the glasses look like in the real world in a sense. What you see when you see through those glasses. So we had to simulate this for the client, and we worked closely with them. They kind of sent us these models over to kind of visualize what this would look like. Numbers-oriented bunch of you. This was from the client. We didn't necessarily track this, but the clients were tracking the campaign, and over 400% year-over-year sales are for that one item. I think that's pretty cool. With the same client, we also worked on 3D model viewers. So this is one of their headsets. This is again from like ages ago, but we also kind of have informational pop-ups kind of show and basically show them how it point out certain aspects of the goggle. We review and test these models on the Model Viewer. Model Viewer is an open source project that is maintained by Google, primarily maintained by Google. This helps us make models that are compatible with like Google's Model Viewer. And why is that important? Because Google now has implemented that same Model Viewer in Google Shopping. So if you look at this Vans model, we created that model. We worked with Google to kind of have, as they were kind of rolling out this in Google Shopping. So now if you actually today, I tried this yesterday as well. If you Google Vans old school navy blue, this model kind of shows up in Google search, no app required, which is kind of big for a lot of e-commerce clients and customers. And again, all these stats are like, it's, I'm more interested in the cool stuff. Not so keen on the stats, but it's super important, as you know. One thing that I do want to point out, this is again, you can also run all of this on the web. This is on an app, but like you can also run this on the web. Virtual try-on for shoes. That one frame, there's one frame where it looks like you're actually wearing the shoe, which I think is really, really cool. Especially with the sheen and the way it kind of like reflects on that shoe. And within shoes, we're also kind of imagining how these shoes can kind of work with future interfaces, like the Apple Vision Pro. So what we have here is a mock-up of, again, one of our shoe models, which we work with the client Oliver's. We mocked up their website to kind of show them what this might look like on the Apple Vision Pro. So you can inspect or try on the shoe in the Vision Pro, and as well as like you can and when you purchase it, you could kind of lead the users to a particular type of new experience, so like an unboxing experience after the purchase is made. So this again is a concept. It didn't go live or anything, but this just is a concept to prove how these 3D models can be used in like future devices or like new devices. So virtual try-on goes beyond just hats and sunglasses and shoes. You can also do full body try-on. This is using just a single image. It uses Snap's machine learning technology. It's not a 3D model, but it uses Snap's machine learning technology to just take a picture and use that on yourself as a virtual try-on, which again is pretty cool, especially in terms of like, it's not perfect, but at the same time it's like you can see where the tech is going. This is an interesting example of the 3D model viewer. Again, like, a model viewer doesn't necessarily need to be static. It doesn't just need to be a thing on a screen that like you can play around with and just look at. You can also have, because again, customers use it in different ways. People kind of like to use it with the hat, with the brim bent, with the sticker off, and so on. And you can certainly kind of allow for your users to do that while they test it out. And the same goes for animations as well. Alright. So we can also kind of do the same thing, because some people kind of like to wear it higher, some people like to wear it lower. We were again testing this out. This is something internal that we were like our team basically was just testing out. And the same with glasses as well. Like we were trying to imagine like a no-touch interface. So all of this basically tracks her head, and as she kind of moves her head around and her hand gestures, basically takes you to the next video. All that kind of led us to kind of making in-store mirrors. You might have seen some of these, but the idea is, let me forward this, I think I'm running out of time, so let me forward it. But the idea is like you just walk up to a store, try on different things, different products, and effectively what stores have is an endless aisle. You're not limited by the number of products that you have in store, but all of this is virtual, so like you can just have like multiple of these and people can keep trying them on as they see fit. We then moved on to trying out like full body clothing. This is of course fully conceptual. It's just like just to see what exactly is possible. And again, this is using Snap's tech, but there are different ways in which we can do it. We've kind of also built in-house tech to do it.
This So you know we can see him?
This is a live feed straight from Turkey. And we also deployed one of these, a couple of these mirrors in store. So in here you can see someone trying to try on a shoe, but like, you know, maybe it's not their size, for example, but you can actually walk up to the mirror. And as you walk up to the mirror, what you don't see in this video is there's actually like an endless loop of products that kind of show up on your feed. But if you want to control it, then you can just scan this QR code, and there's a web app that allows you to control it. So you don't need to install a new app or anything. Everything totally works on the web. You can see the information of the shoes or the product that you're trying on your phone, and the rest of it you can actually see yourself wearing it in the mirror. We're also testing out like other mirrors where like, you know, you can actually have multiple types of experiences within the same mirror, so it's not just limited to just shoes or just hats and whatnot, but you can actually cycle through different types of things. And again, this is just like experimental. We haven't gone live with any of these, but these are all just starting to on stage. Which I think is pretty cool, just to kind of see what's possible and whatnot. This is again like, you know, both glasses and a full body thing all within the same experience. Moving on from mirrors, the 3D model also allows us to do product swaps, and this gets super helpful, especially in e-commerce sites where you don't necessarily have the budget or the time to kind of like take pictures with every single product, but you can very easily kind of use a 3D model to kind of swap out that product. So the one on the left is the customer's actual site, but the one on the right is like the mock-up that we made for them. And this is interesting because everything that you see here, with the exception of the human being, is a 3D model. So the human being is also, so that person's actually holding a 3D render of a shoe. He's wearing 3D renders of the shoe, and all these other images are also just 3D renders. So again, the versatility in getting just one 3D model to kind of like, you know, expand beyond just virtual try-on and product and 3D models, also the product images that can come out of it. Same with product. I'm not so sure. The team tells me that that's a real person, but I'm not so sure. But yeah, I mean, all of the products itself are 3D models. And how are we doing on time today?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Some more other interesting use cases of these 3D models, like, you know, we built this inside Fortnite. I forwarded the video to just the part where, like, you know, we basically built out an entire Nike shoe store in Fortnite that people can actually kind of go into and whatnot. So again, this is more of a branding experience. We kind of show this to, we worked with Nike, we're kind of showing this to them. This hasn't gone live or anything, this is just like a demo that we showed them. Probably that's why they didn't like it. We showed their shoes on Crosshair.
You don't like sneakers, huh?
And in terms of like model quality and like how we kind of like, you know, maintain or rather how we keep our clients happy in terms of like, you know, being as true to the model as possible. We created an in-house tool that it's a very simple CMS that basically lists all our models. Our clients have access to just theirs. We call it QReal, where people can kind of go in, upload the models. Like our team basically uploads the models. That notifies the clients, and the clients can review it with their pictures on the right and the model on the left. And if they have any comments, they basically send us comments right there on the thing. So it reduces the amount of back and forth. It goes straight to the production team. The production team can reply straight to the client. It just works out pretty well. And this has basically allowed us to increase the catalog of our 3D models like over 3,000. I'm not sure what the exact number is right now. But yeah, it's pretty good. Finally, I thought I had one more slide, but anyway. Thank you. Thanks everybody.
Thank you so much, Mithru. Definitely put some questions in, and we'll get Mithru up at the end. And next is Mr. Lucky. Come on down. You're the next contestant.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the passion
I'm Lucky Govindra. I serve as the president of CXR Agency. CXR Agency is a Brooklyn-based technology lab that's focused on spatial-first applications for enterprises. Up there is my QR code. You can scan it, you get my contact information, find me on LinkedIn if you'd like. So, me and Ashton's here. I've been building for 16 years. About a decade ago, Thanksgiving, we picked up Google Cardboard, and our perspective on technology shifted in that moment, and we realized that spatial computing is the last computing medium, and the world's gonna adapt to more natural things, whether it is immediately or within a couple of years, right? So let's start building towards it. Over the last decade, we've been fortunate to win a number of awards. Some of them were ISO certified, and we work with enterprises. And today, I'm going to take you through one client of ours, which is Richemont. Some of you guys may know Richemont. Richemont is a luxury conglomerate. I think it's fashion. I think it's sensible to focus on them and how they're using XR technology across their business, right? So I'm going to take you through 3 use cases. One is the first one, and I'll play the video, but just to give you some understanding. It's called Arcadian. It was launched at Hudson Yards in New York City. And the idea here, and where we started, was what is the future of retail, right? And we had many opinions and large debates about this in strategy and consulting sessions. And we came down to the thing that it's 0 physical products and it's experiential. And people are going to come in and learn about the brand ethos and be understanding of the brand's values on a level that's beyond what a store can give you with just physical product. So I'll play the video and I'll talk more about it. Let's start here. So what you see here is a consumer-focused experience. It was built for the iPad OS. It was using Apple world mapping to be able to allow the experience to anchor different scenes there. There were 7 different scenes. Somebody was able to choose which scene or environment they want to go to or which brand. And then in each brand's world, there was product placement, so watches, necklaces, jewelry, etc. And somebody's able to interact with those products, see them, and within the worlds they could, rather than taking physical pictures with the product or trying on products, we allow them to use the inverse of the technology and drop themselves into those worlds to take social shareable moments where they could, share with their friends and post onto socials, etc. Right? The next example I'll show you is on the other side of the spectrum. It's also a Richemont. So this was bottom left. We can do this part. Or yeah. Alright, so before I get into this one is training focus. Very common to LMD, as all of us must know, or the ones of us that are spending our days in virtual reality or augmented reality. So Richemont came to us with, the need to educate their employees at a higher level. Right? Today, employees go through training, they retain maybe 50% of it, they forget exponentially faster than they would if they actually practiced and learned in the real world. It's also hard to do real dangerous things or simulate the real world in a 2D screen where you're watching a video or whatnot. So the example we're going to show you here is actually an armed robbery that we have brought to the virtual world. With Richemont in these cases, we help them go through casting, scripting, doing the content capture in 8K, and actually creating the experience and application to house all this training material to allow their employees to learn and be educated.
This one could be the one. I guess I can't hurt to try. Excuse me, sir. May I help you?
I know you're out, you need to get some information. Just want to make sure first that you're okay and we're injured. Could you describe the suspect to us if you got a good look at him?
Oh, wow, nice. 6'11"? 6'11". No way he's 6'11".
No way he was. That's the wrong answer. He was definitely not nearly as tall as that.
I played against 6'11". That's not 6'11".
Definitely didn't make it to that advance. Got a little short. But the idea here was, how do you educate people on things they may face and circumstances they may be in, or policies and procedures effectively, safely, in a scalable manner, right? And what you see here is obviously a dangerous situation where you hope people will never be there, but it does happen, people are brazen. And how do you prepare people for that scenario? And how do you actually test them on company policy and understand where they score and how to make them better? So this goes from the whole journey, from the education piece to actually understanding performance and improvement as well, right? And the next one I want to show you guys is actually something we're about to go live with Richmond on later this month. And it's the other side of the spectrum, right? So you have the consumer experience, you have educating your employees. The other thing is attracting employees. So they're having challenges with one of their aspects of their business of recruitment and the watch center in Dallas. And they're losing out to a competitor to gain that talent. And currently their process is quite antiquated. They're taking a big, funky looking clock that belongs to on a wall. And they're trying to give it to people at trade shows to teach them these skills to actually go into this trade and build this muscle and see if they want to do it. And what we've done here is we've actually taken that process and we've brought it to virtual reality and gamified it for the education piece and the ability to show that person what it may potentially be to be a watchman. So as you can see, right, retail and fashion in general is using spatial technology and XR holistically across their stack for many different use cases, whether it be the consumer experience at retail, whether it be to educate their staff and upskill them, or even as to attract new talent, right? And the technology is helping them make inroads across the spectrum and upskill their business in general. I'm glad you guys were able to learn a little bit more about what we're doing, and come over after, meet with us, try that, and see what you think, and share with us. Thank you.
All right, last but not least, Mr. Michael, come on up. Awesome. Oh, yeah. We're gonna bring up a different slideshow.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about FIT, some innovation, an innovation center that we have there that's focused on design and technology. And we kind of look at ourselves as kind of dancing with the future, but really looking at how to explore the impact of emerging technology on the new fashion value chain. So obviously new developments are changing retail in a lot of different areas, and a few of them really are focused on 3D fashion design, virtual reality, AR, AI, and live shopping, which have been some of the things that we have really taken on in some earnest on behalf of some clients. I've been involved in technology for a long time. I made my first picture with a computer in 1969. So that's me working on a synthesizer at Syracuse University. I've done a lot of interesting different projects in my life, having been at Magi when we did Tron, the first feature film to ever use computer animation. I then was one of the co-founders of Blue Sky Studios. I was a system architect for the entire CGI studio system that we ran for many years. I then went off and did a bunch of work in, well, these are the early examples. That's what it was like back then. I worked on the first motion simulator ever built. It predated a flight simulator. It was a ship navigation trainer that was designed by Evans and Sutherland, but built and operated by Sperry on Long Island. After Blue Sky, I developed a technology to take traditional hand-drawn animation, Kim Possible, which was a very popular character, but we also did Bugs Bunny. And we transformed them into assets that could be performed live. So we did national broadcasts. When Kim Possible launched her news animation series, she was interviewed by news reporters around the United States live on television as a cartoon. We did a big game show award, a game award show for Cartoon Network, where we had 2 cartoon characters co-hosting the award show with Shaquille O'Neal. And then we did a TV series for MTV, in which we were able to produce full episodes of the show, 3 of them in one day. And they were animations, they were drawn animations. Normally animation takes about 8 months to produce an episode. I worked at Lincoln College, and we did a really interesting project where we won an Emmy Award for the work that we did featuring the best of the Bronx. I went to FIT in the around 2017, and while FIT is well known as a fashion school, it has 40 degree programs, and it really has its arms around the entire fashion value chain. It's really quite a remarkable place from that point of view. So the DTech Lab is part of this FIT Center for Innovation, and we serve as a bridge between academia and industry. We're not an academic unit. We really operate more as a consultancy, where we bring faculty and students together to collaborate on projects for industry. Since May of 2017, we've done over 60 of these industry-sponsored projects, having 90 faculty and 250 students involved in it. They've been for a lot of different brands, many of which you know. Where you started, an early project we did was with IBM. It was a big project, 12 students and 4 faculty, senior research scientists from IBM, executives from PVH, executives from Tommy. And we developed a number of different executions, one of which involved a prototype for enhancing a smart mirror using a suite of IBM's AI services that include visual recognition, conversational agency, developing personality insights from your conversation, analyzing your tone and attitude, and then deep social media listening, so you had a much more fluid interaction with a smart mirror. We've done a lot of work in 3D and partnered with Browseware on a number of different things, one of which was a project to reimagine the iconic Adidas tracksuit. And we did the design work as a core component of doing a UI UX analysis to develop a report to share insights with Browseware about what young designers were thinking now that 3D fashion design is becoming ubiquitous. So it's a really interesting intersection of 2 different disciplines on the one project. We did a series of short videos for Cotton Incorporated, who came to us to asking, what can you do with 3D fashion design to present collections in new and sort of unique ways? So we developed this series of videos. So I'll let play for a second, a few minutes here. Properties of cotton finishing in a way that really sort of captured the attention of designers, mills, of farmers even, because cotton ink represents a pretty broad constituency. We did an interesting project for Ludacris, who launched an animated children's television series on Netflix in 139 countries at once. Loosely based on one of his daughters, whose name is Karma. And she's a singer and a dancer and wants to do good in the world. So what we developed was 3 different collections of accessories, footwear, and apparel that we prototyped in 3D and then put onto CGI characters that were then produced as toys by Mattel and sold as products in Target. So it was an interesting kind of reversal of starting with 3D and going back out into the physical world. We did a project for the Girl Scouts who came to us saying, the older Girl Scouts were leaving the organization, and they would say in part was because they felt so marginalized and geeky because of this awful uniform that they had to wear. So we designed a collection of apparel for them so they could reflect their pride and affiliation in the organization, but feel comfortable with their peers in high school. We designed 64 pieces. They selected an assortment of 28. We prototyped those in 3D, and when in the middle of our doing a prototyping, we found out they were doing a brand relaunch. So if we had been physically prototyping, it would have been a disaster. But we were working in digital, so we could accommodate all the new brand revisions very dynamically. We then did 3D volumetric scans and then launched the collection as a live shopping event using a platform called Bamboozler, where an influencer who had been a Girl Scout, had a big following, launched the collection, was wardrobing it, and you could buy directly out of the collection live without leaving the show. So it's kind of an interesting way to completely transform their fashion value chain into a digital fashion value chain. We've done interesting work exploring AR and AR storytelling, particularly focused on our sustainability initiatives at FIT. And in support of a brand messaging program called Earth Things First, we were developing brand activations that used AR, using a platform that incubated here called Membit. And it was, we created a canyon of our sustainability heroes at FIT. So this woman here is a brilliant scientist who's led teams of students to develop fibers from algae and develop new materials from base level proteins. So we created a series of statues that really celebrated some of the great scientists and great accomplishments we had that were sprinkled throughout the campus, and we had them available during our sustainability conference. We then also started looking at how to use AR as a kind of storytelling vehicle to kind of create impactful moments so that you could really drive home an understanding of what things like single-use plastic was like. So we had these moments that were kind of sprinkled around through bus stops to kind of give you a way of moving through the city and understanding really what sustainability meant and what pollution meant. So I'm going to end this. That was fast, right?
That was a lot.
And I overlooked something very important, especially in this group. I was doing large-scale virtual worlds built around literary narratives, showing contemporary art centers all over the world in the 90s. So we built a whole bunch of these, built around Franz Kafka stories, these really short stories that he wrote, and another one that was built around Nikolai Gogol's famous work called Dead Souls. And we were in Macau, in Sweden, Denmark, Paris, Toronto, LA, and New York. So back then, I traveled with what was effectively a refrigerator full of gear, and would set them up and run them in these rather remote places. But one of the things I like to say about FIT is that it's its combined strength in design, science, business, and technology that uniquely positions it to develop creative solutions that have a positive impact in the world. And I always like to end with a little bit of a laugh. That's me dancing in the metaverse. I did a 3D volumetric capture of myself. I then put an animation rig inside it, and then took a motion capture out of a dance, and applied it to myself. So for fun, I amuse myself.
All right, so let's get to the Q&A portion. Hold on. I gotta jump back to the QR code, and I actually have to grab my phone. All right, so put any QA into there. Let me grab my phone.